Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. Axon was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with Axon, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. Axon carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast number 235. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. More information, go to axontire.com. And if you're looking for a great place to find great tools for your salespeople to help them sell more stuff, check out Arrow at heyarrow.com. This week I've got a great guest. Had a chance to have him at the Moving Iron Summit, and he was the entertainment for the night. I got Tim, the dairy farmer, Moffett, on here. And if you haven't had a chance to check out Tim, well worth your time. Go to YouTube, just put in Tim, the dairy farmer, on there, and you'll see all kinds of great stuff. So Tim, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Casey. Good to be with you, man. I've been listening to this podcast for a long time.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. And it's you were a hit in Nashville, man. I tell you what, there's for a guy that there's a bunch of used equipment guys in the room talking about what's going on. Your comedy was a good fit for all that.
Thanks. I had a good time, man.
Yeah.
Good group of people. Good group of people.
It is a solid group of people. So, well, Tim, let's just start this way. How'd you give a little background on yourself and how you got into comedy?
I spent more time in the principal's office than I did in class. And
right. I know the feeling. Yeah.
And I don't know. Growing up, I always listened to comedy. I watched comedy. But I never put two and two together that you could actually get paid to do it. I didn't realize that was an actual job. And so, my brother and I started dairy when we were like 19 and 20. And it wasn't until I was 32 when I finally decided I wanted to try it. So I took a how-to comedy class at a comedy club. And, then from there, I spent the last 20 years dying on stage and just getting better. But I tell you, my first show, I had gone to a couple comedy classes. I mean, I always knew street jokes, right. But I was at a dairy convention, and they had hired this guy that was supposed to be a humorous sketch artist. So basically, he had a big notepad on stage, and he would draw pictures and, I don't know if he was trying to motivate the crowd or whatever he was. Anyway, this guy spent all afternoon at the bar drinking before he came on that evening, because they brought him on stage, and he was staggering when he got there. And the first picture he drew was some anatomy. And it's what most men have. And he drew a big old anatomy with a set of huevos. And that was his first picture. And they yanked him off stage in about 3 minutes. And all the beautiful people are there, all the suits, all the big wigs, and they're freaking out at this point. And one of them ran over to me and said, "Hey, we heard you tried comedy. You think you can do it?" And I'm like, "I guess." So I got up there and I I think I told like maybe 3 or 4, or 5 jokes, and I was up there for about 5 minutes, and that was the beginning of my corporate comedy career. So
Right on.
was the fact that somebody got drunk.
Did you bomb or did you kill?
I don't remember. I think I did all right. I know I did better than the guy they yanked off stage.
Right. Yeah. When you swing for the fences right out of the gate and you strike out, it's always a bad sign.
So no, I did all right. And the thing about comedy that I like, I mean, when you're in a small room, a club, or even when you're in a big corporate setting like at your place, you start to feed off that energy and it becomes an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And then it's, you get addicted. I mean, you write that joke. You write a joke, hopefully, that hits 9 times out of 10. It won't the first time out of your mouth, but that adrenaline rush is what you're going for every time.
Yep.
Sometimes, I mean, I hate to sound selfish. Sometimes it's not about the crowd. It's me trying to get a joke to work. You know what I'm saying? It's just, but it's been fun, man. I'm going into my 20th year doing this.
Right on.
Am I funny yet? I don't know, but I have fun.
I think you're pretty funny.
Thanks.
I laughed. When you look at the stuff that you're doing, who are some of the guys that growing up, you talked about listening to a lot of comedy, and that's one of my favorite things to do too. From a sales perspective, I always found it was pretty easy to kind of win somebody over by, a little humor here and there and kind of coax people along that way. But who are some of the guys and gals that you might have paid attention to that were some of your kind of mentors, even though you may have never met them, going through the comedy game?
Oh man. I grew up watching the Carol Burnett show, loved Tim Conway. I grew up listening to Carlin, to Pryor, Jerry Clower. He was a fertilizer salesman before he got going.
Really?
Man, I'm like bipolar when it comes to it. I love all kinds of comedy. I can't put it on just a handful because I watch them all, man. I mean,
yeah.
It's some days you're in the mood for, Jim Gaffigan. The next day I'm in the mood for Bill Burr or somebody, wild like that. But no, I've got to meet, I opened for Ron White, Larry the Cable Guy some.
Yeah.
But I've got to meet some great people, man.
I tell you, Ron White to me is one of his stage presence is so awesome. He's like listening to somebody at a bar, and he's just there to tell a story, and he's like that guy that tells an entertaining story, but it's so goddamn funny. You know what I mean?
He's actually funnier in person than he is on stage. I'm not gonna lie, man. He can tell you about him going to get a pack of gum, and you're just dying. I mean, super nice guy.
So I was listening to I think it was Joe Rogan's podcast or something like that. He's always on there from time to time. He's talking about some trip he went on, and him and Dr. Phil, I guess, are good friends, and ended up on his boat somehow. And I'm not gonna tell the story, but God bless him. I was driving down the road trying not to wreck my car. I was laughing so hard because it's like something you can see somebody doing. Like you could tell it wasn't a far-fetched story, but yeah.
Yeah, he's doing good. I years ago he had said to me, he goes, I'm gonna quit doing stand-up. I'm like, why would you quit, man? You're making $200,000 a show. He says, well, I don't think my liver can take it anymore. And I mean, that's one of the old tricks of comedy is they'll take a Coke and water it down and make it look like alcohol. Not Ron. That's Johnny Walker Black, man. That's
right. Yeah. He's a one of a kind, man. I'll tell you what, that whole blue collar comedy group, that whole thing they had going for a while was pretty cool. But I think Ron White to me really stands out as one of the real great comedians, I think, of my generation anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever make it to that status. I don't know. I mean, I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy making people laugh. I get to meet a lot of crazy people. You know, like the Moving Iron Summit, the guy from Colorado. I mean, you can't write that kind of stuff when he.
The guy would, yeah, the guy that wouldn't shut up. I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, Riri.
Oh, Riri. I was laughing so hard when you said, so do you remarket it? You market it twice? Is that what you do?
Yeah, for the listeners, this guy, he just decided he wanted to be part of the show. So he asked me, you know, long story short, I said, what do you do? And he goes, I remarket equipment. I resell it. He goes, but I'm not really good at it. I'm like, so sometimes you have to resell it. So started calling him Riri for the next 5 minutes, and he just kept trying to come back with something, but he wasn't capable. And
No,
then he said he wanted to come to my farm, and he was going to breed, and I'm like, well, you can breed them if you want, but I don't know. If he's listening, I know he's from Colorado, but it made me laugh just listening to him on stage. So I'm not bashing him at all, but he was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was funny. So as you travel, how many days a week are you out, or a year? How many days a year are you out? As many as you can get a hold of, or
as many as I can get, man. I normally average about 25 or 30 of those shows like we did for you there.
So as you travel around, talk to a lot of people, you're doing a lot of stuff in the ag market. That's kind of your bread and butter there, doing those different ag company, corporate events, those kind of things. What are some of the stuff that you hear people talk about while you're out and about, as far as what you hear, whether it's political stuff or whether it's, whatever it might be?
I hear a lot of "Let's Go Brandon."
Yeah, I can imagine you hear a lot of that while you're out there.
I had a guy. I was in Missouri a couple weeks ago, and right in the middle of my set, I'd stopped in between jokes, and he just yelled it out, and I was like, "Fine with me," you know what I'm saying? Hear a lot of that, hear a lot. You're always hearing about. The three things farmers talk about is the weather, pricing, and how early they get up.
Right.
And, nobody gives a shit what time you got up. Just get your work done. You know what I'm saying? That was something that used to drive me nuts. My old man used to, yell at me and my brother when we were kids. And we're like, listen, we're here from dark till dark. What more do you want? You know what I'm saying? But no, I hear a lot about pricing. I hear, lately they have been talking about fuel prices a lot.
Yeah.
And everybody's kind of wondering, well, crap, what is it, just yesterday or right after Thanksgiving, they came out with the new variant?
Yep.
So what are they going to use this against? It's, I don't know. I hear a lot of things. I try not to talk about them on stage because I don't think that. I mean, you got, like Sean Hackett. This is what he does for a living. You don't want me talking about it up there because I'm an idiot. So I let people that are smarter than me talk about that kind of stuff. Now, if I get a good thing that I can make a one-line joke out of, I'll bring it up. But I hear a lot of stuff. I don't know. What are you hearing?
Well, the variant thing, let's talk about that a minute. I mean, that's the one thing I hear out there right now that has me the most scared. Not so much that I'm worried about someone catching it and what that means and all those kind of things. What I'm more worried about is how it's going to get politicized. And how's it going to get twisted around on us that way?
And you know it will. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to voice my political opinions on here, but
There's a fair amount of people that will take advantage of the situation.
Yes.
And run with it and do something stupid with it because, and you know what? Now that the Republicans aren't in power, I could see them twisting it around and doing some stuff there too. I mean, it's politics, man. And you're going to use numbers in your toolbox. So yeah, that's what has me worried the most, man. I'd sit there and look at that and kind of the inflation thing that we got going on, and then you have to go back to another shutdown again. This might make the 80s look like a cakewalk if you're not too careful. You know?
Yeah, I agree, man. I forget how the old saying goes about show me somebody that went to DC broke and left broke.
Yeah,
because it's all insider trading and.
Yeah, nope, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So as you kind of look at 22. You got some pretty good stuff, it sounds like, coming up. So what are some of the things you got in the hopper now that you're working on?
I've already got quite a few shows booked. I'm happy about that with different companies. The first January 8th, I'm filming an hour comedy special. I could easily get it on Netflix, but I'm going to try a couple other options. We're writing a sitcom right now. It takes place on a farm, and I've written the part in for Larry the Cable Guy to be my Archie Bunker type, politically incorrect uncle that gives me advice. So I'm hoping that we can kind of get that going. And then I've got a reality show, pretty good idea that I'm probably going to pitch at the same time and go from there. So if that's the case, I'll probably be coming out to Nebraska a couple times and doing part of that reality show. So
that'd be cool.
Or wherever else.
Right on.
I don't want to tell you the idea because it's too damn good. And somebody might be well, shit, let's take that.
Somebody steal from you. Right on.
Some damn farmer out there might decide to put it on TikTok. He's going to make more money than I ever did, you know?
Yeah, there's truth to that. A lot of truth to that. So you're working on your hour and those kind of things. How long does it take you to put that hour together? Like how many dry runs do you go through before you actually get it to what you like to hear?
Man, writing a joke, sometimes you get lucky and the comedy gods like bless you with one that goes from your brain straight to your mouth and the crowd loves it. Other times it can take you 6 months because comedy, to walk into a room full of, 300 to 500 people or 12 people that you don't know. This isn't like you're at the bar drinking and you're with your buddies. This is like you're, to make everybody laugh across the board with the joke. To get everybody involved sometimes takes 6 months, a year. I mean, it just depends how many times you're throwing it out. Like I always, whether it's a corporate show or what, I'm always throwing out 1 or 2, sometimes 3 new ones because I'm working on it. It's right. Back to that, this album I'm putting out now, it's already on CD on Sirius XM. Larry, the Cable Guy, produced it. But I've never done a video of it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm already writing my next album. It's called, now the first one, this one's going to be called Farm Raised. The next one's going to be called Corn Cobs and Chaos. Now that's whatever you think it might be. I've got stuff in there about, corn maze is nothing more than escape room for country people. But I talk about corn mazes, porta johns at the state fair, cow farts, cow cuddling, goat yoga. I'm writing a bit right now about they're starting to potty train cows. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have not seen that. No.
Yeah, over in Europe, they're trying to potty train cows because of they say it's killing the the environment. And I'm like, well, at least that explains that toilet in my neighbor's front yard, you know? So just, it takes a while to write a joke. I mean, there's some comedians that could write you an hour special in a week. I'm just not that guy. I'm still farming every day. I don't know. I'm slow. You know what I'm saying? I write a monthly, I don't know, a couple times a month in Progressive Dairyman magazine. My article's called The Manure Spreader, which tells you how brilliant it is. But, you know, I'm all the time writing new jokes. I use that as a writing platform to what comes out of my head. I put in that article, and then I'm practicing that on stage and expanding it what it does. I mean, you might have one line that's funny. You know, on this special I'm doing, I heard a funny line one time called, a guy talked about a butt sneeze. You know, when you're out drinking margaritas and eating Mexican food, the next morning you're on the toilet before church.
Right.
And you're just sitting there and then just, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He called it a butt sneeze. And I literally wrote an 8-minute bit around that word butt sneeze. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you might hear one word and then you just expand out the best you can. But man, it can take, and sometimes you might do a joke you think is solid, and then 6 months later you'll hear something and then you'll tag that on there. It's always growing.
Yeah.
You know, you just get to the point where you're like, all right. I mean, that's my plan with this comedy special is, you know, I've been doing a lot of this material for a long time, and at this point, when I get done filming it, I'm not doing that material anymore. You know, I've got a couple more hours of my material I need to be doing. So
yeah. And that's the hard part too about it, is that you go through all that time to develop that hour, and then when it's done,
right,
it's kind of shelf life, you know, it's over.
But then I'm going back to that, trying to get that new adrenaline rush. You know I can get one off that joke. Well, let's go see if I can get one off this joke. You know, it's I don't know. It's hard to explain, man, but I encourage anybody to try stand-up comedy if they want to try it. I didn't start till I was 32. There's no age limit. You don't have to look a certain way. You know, you just, funny's funny. And hell, you should try it, Casey.
No, I'm not that funny.
No?
No. Not at all. But man, no.
I'll tell you what, next time, if I get the chance to come back to the Iron Summit again, I'll let you do a couple minutes in front of me. How's that?
Okay, that'll work. And you can tell me how bad I am, and then we can jump back. And let the pro do it.
Over the years, I've shown up and they're like, hey, we got this farmer that he'd like to do some time in front of you. And I'm like, what am I going to say? You know, they're hiring me. I'm not in charge.
Right.
Like, all right. You know, and then when he gets done, you're thinking to yourself, man, you probably shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Now all your friends are talking about how bad you sucked. You know
right. Yep. Yeah.
It's happened.
I let professionals do the professional things they do, and that seems to work out pretty well.
Well, I'm just having fun with it. I appreciate people like you that have hired me, and you know that's why I don't talk about the politics and all the other crap, because I feel like my job is to let people forget about that shit for an hour.
Right.
Same with, you know, like when I roll in, like at your place where guys are talking markets and numbers all day, and then they bring me in. I'm not going to get up there and start spouting shit they got to think about again. I want them to be brain dead like me and just laugh and have a beer, you know?
Yeah. So. That's that's what's good about doing those kind of things after the fact, because it's a great segue into something into the evening. You know what I mean? So it's way more fun. So, where do people find your albums at? You just go like to iTunes or whatever and get them, or what?
Yeah, it's on iTunes. It's on Google. It's on all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's on. They play it on Channel 97 on Sirius all the time.
Check that.
I will say, if you haven't heard it yet, then maybe just wait till the special comes out, because something happened with the audio on that album, and it sounds like I'm in a sardine can. I don't know what happened, but the sound, kind of like when Sean Hackett used to call in on your podcast.
Yeah. There was a time and a place there where he had his audio. I could never get it to come out right. Finally got that.
I mean, I'm not bad. I love Sean. I met Sean there at the summit. He's funny.
Yeah.
I think
he's got
Sean
some one-liners.
Sean could do some jokes in front of me.
Yeah, he's got some good one-liners. I've always thought about putting out a like a blooper reel of the stuff, because typically when I roll in, and because me and Sean record, he's in East Coast time and I'm in Mountain time, right. So I'm either doing it somewhere between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, wherever he's at. And, if I haven't got my workout in, or if I haven't had enough coffee or something like that, I'll say some of the most bizarre things that roll out of my mouth when I'm trying to do the lead in. So he's always laughing at me the whole time, which makes it even that much harder for me to do, because he's laughing on mute while I'm trying to do my thing. And so I've always thought about putting that out once or twice.
You should do that for a Christmas special coming up.
Yeah, I could do that, but it would be because some of the stuff I've said, I'm like, I don't even know where that came from. I don't know how that's not even a word. I don't even know what that is, so yeah, there's good stuff there, but no, Sean's a good guy, and he is very funny, man, for sure. So, well, Tim, if folks want to reach out to you and get book you for a show they've got going on, or whatever that might be, what's the easiest way to do that?
TimTheDairyFarmer.com.
TimTheDairyFarmer.com. Right on.
Yes.
And go through there and check it out. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't listened to Tim's comedy yet, man, check it out. Go to YouTube, listen to some of the stuff he's got there. Just go check that stuff out, because I'll tell you right now, if you're looking for someone that's going to keep your people entertained and make people laugh, and it's an ag-related group, Tim's comedy is going to do that. One more time, folks want to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that?
TimTheDairyFarmer.com. Of course, I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm horrible at social media, but it is what it is. So, right. TimTheDairyFarmer.com.
Right on. Well, I'm Casey Seymour, Moving Iron Podcast. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where you're going to find all the latest editions of the Moving Iron Podcast. Also go to MovingIronLLC.com for everything Moving Iron related. So with that, I am Casey Seymour with Tim, the Dairy Farmer Moffett. Let's go move some iron, folks. Out.
You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let Axon worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. Axon has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of Axon, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an Axon dealer, head over to agmarkets.com.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.